You think you're stuck because something is missing. More money, more time, more opportunity, more motivation. But that's not why you're stuck. That's the story your brain tells you, so you don't look deeper. Because if you look deeper, you'll see something uncomfortable. You're not stuck because you can't move. You're stuck because something inside you won't let you. And it's not obvious. It doesn't feel like resistance. It doesn't feel like something is stopping you. It feels normal. That's why it's dangerous. Because the system trapping you feels like you. You wake up with ideas. You think about change. You imagine a different life. For a moment, it feels possible, clear, close, within reach. And then something happens. You hesitate. You delay. You distract. You tell yourself, I'll start later. Tomorrow. Next week. When I'm ready. And that moment, that tiny shift, is where everything collapses. Not loudly, not dramatically, silently. You don't notice it, because it feels reasonable, logical, safe, but it's not. It's the loop. The same loop that has been running for years. Comfort, avoidance, regret, repeat, again and again and again. And every time you go through it, it gets stronger, more automatic, more invisible, until one day, you stop questioning it. You stop noticing it, and it becomes your reality. This is just how my life is. This is just how things go. This is just who I am. But it's not. It's conditioning. Your brain has learned something, not consciously. Through repetition, through experience, through emotional reinforcement, it learned that staying the same is safer than changing. Even if staying the same hurts you, even if it limits you, even if it keeps you stuck, because your brain doesn't measure success, it measures safety. And safety is defined by familiarity, what you've done before, what you've felt before, what you've survived before. That becomes your comfort zone. Not comfort as in pleasure, comfort as in predictability. Your brain would rather keep you in a situation you hate than move you into something unknown, because unknown means risk. And risk feels like danger. So every time you get close to change, your brain activates, not to help you, to protect you. It creates resistance, but not in an obvious way, not by saying stop. It does something smarter. It makes you hesitate. It makes you doubt. It makes you feel tired. It makes distractions more attractive. It makes comfort feel urgent. And suddenly, the thing you wanted to do doesn't feel as important. Not because it changed, because your state changed. Your brain shifted your internal environment to pull you back into familiarity. That's the trap. You think you're making a decision, but you're reacting to a state. And your state is being influenced by your brain, based on patterns, based on past experiences, based on what it believes is safe. That's why you can know exactly what to do and still not do it. That's why information doesn't change your life, because the problem is not knowledge, it's conditioning. You don't need more information, you need to break the pattern. But breaking the pattern feels uncomfortable. It feels wrong, it feels unnatural, because it goes against what your brain has learned. And your brain resists that. Hard, it creates friction. Internal friction, the kind you can't explain. You just feel it, a heaviness, a resistance, a subtle pullback, and most people follow that feeling. They interpret it as a signal. Maybe this isn't right. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe this isn't for me. But it's not a signal of truth. It's a signal of conditioning. Your brain trying to keep you in the known. That's why people stay stuck for years. Not because they lack desire, not because they lack potential, but because they trust the wrong signals. They trust how it feels, and how it feels is controlled by their past. Your brain has created associations, links between actions and emotions. If something was once uncomfortable, your brain remembers it. If something felt risky, your brain marks it. And the next time you approach something similar, your brain reacts before you think, before you decide, before you understand. It shifts your state, creates hesitation, creates resistance, and pulls you back. That's the loop, and it's automatic. You don't choose it. It runs in the background every day, every decision, every moment you try to move forward. That's why progress feels inconsistent. One day you're motivated, clear, focused. The next day, it's gone. You didn't lose motivation. Your brain shifted your state. Back to familiar, back to safe, back to known, and you followed it. Without realizing, that's the key. You're not aware of it. So you think it's real, you think it's you think it's your mood, your personality, your identity, but it's not. It's a pattern. Running, repeating, reinforcing itself. And the more it repeats, the stronger it becomes. Because every time you follow the loop, you prove to your brain, this is what we do. This is how we survive. This is normal. And your brain locks it in. Deeper, stronger, faster, until it becomes automatic, effortless, invisible. That's when you feel truly stuck. Not because you can't move, but because every attempt to move gets pulled back by something you can't see, something you don't understand, something that feels like you, but isn't. It's the system. The internal system designed to keep you safe, at the cost of your growth, at the cost of your potential, at the cost of your future, and it does it quietly, subtly, without force, just by repeating the same pattern, again and again and again, until you stop trying, until you accept it, until you believe, this is just my life, but it's not. It's just the loop. And the moment you see the loop, everything changes, not instantly, but fundamentally, because now, you don't trust the feeling the same way. You don't trust the hesitation. You don't trust the urge to delay because you recognize it. You see it for what it is, a pattern, not truth, a reaction, not a decision, and that awareness is the first step out. Because the loop depends on you not seeing it. The system depends on you believing it. And the moment you stop believing, it starts to weaken. Because now, you're not fully inside it. You're observing it. And observation creates distance. Distance from the pattern, distance from the automatic reaction, distance from the illusion that this is you. And in that distance, you gain something you didn't have before, choice. Not complete, not easy, but real. Because now, when the loop activates, you can see it, you can feel it, you can recognize it before you follow it. And that moment, that small gap, is where everything begins to shift. Because that's where you can interrupt it. That's where you can break it. That's where you can do something different. Not because it feels right, but because you see the pattern and you choose not to follow it. That's the beginning of freedom. Not external, internal. Freedom from the loop, freedom from automatic behavior, freedom from a system that was never designed to help you grow, only to keep you safe. And once you see that clearly, you understand something most people never realize. You were never stuck. You were just repeating. And repetition can be broken.